gold, marble, chandeliers, money. He sells some dreams and excitement. Everybody, that's what everybody wants on some level. I don't care. I'm really rich. I'll show you this. No doubt, Donald Trump is one of the most controversial people on the planet, and very often he's on our screens and in our faces. Being president of the most dominant economic and military world power, the greatest political comeback in American history, readily the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership. We thought we knew everything about him, but apparently even billionaires have secrets. The beginning of Trump's wealth. This might come as a shocker, but the net worth of President-elect Donald Trump has never been categorically stated or known. My name's Donald Trump, and I'm the largest real estate developer in New York. And for decades, his fortune has been the subject of speculation, debate, and, let's be honest, a bit of showmanship. As of mid-November 2024, Forbes crunched the numbers and landed on a figure of $5.5 billion. Forbes magazine says I'm worth a lot. Would I say that I'm worth $5 billion? I would say I'm worth more than $5 billion, but Bloomberg disagreed and came up with a slightly more generous estimate of $6.32 billion for the same time period. And then, of course, there's Trump himself, who insists his net worth is far higher than any of these assessments. So, let's look at how he's gathered his billions over the past few decades. Donald Trump's primary business ventures have always revolved around real estate. However, he's also dabbled in almost every other high-profile niche of the industry: hotels, casinos, golf courses, name it. If it has a chance to make money and make headlines, chances are Trump was interested. Over the years, he has expanded his brand into an array of Trump-branded products. This includes neckties, steaks, and even urine tests. However, while his empire might seem like the result of pure entrepreneurship, his journey into wealth began shortly after he was born. His father's role. Donald Trump's parents were Fred Trump and Mary McLeod. His father, Fred, was a successful real estate developer, and Mary was originally from Scotland. The two met at a party, and their relationship grew until they got married in 1936. The two went on to have 5 kids, with Donald being the 4th. Growing up in a family such as his, Donald's life was influenced by his father's wealth and influence, and so he had access to many resources and opportunities. As kids, he and his siblings were the beneficiaries of multiple trust funds established by their father and their paternal grandmother, Elizabeth Trump. These funds date all the way back to 1949, when Donald was just 3 years old. In fact, according to an investigative report by the New York Times, Trump had attained millionaire status by the age of 8. Again, in 1976, Fred Trump decided to set up new trust funds for each of his 5 children and 3 grandchildren. Each of these funds was worth $1 million at the time, which would be about $5.4 million in today's dollars. Through this fund, Trump received $90,000 in 1980 and $214,605 in 1981. And on top of all of that, Trump already had a huge inheritance waiting for him. However, despite all the privileges that he and his siblings enjoyed, Fred Trump believed in instilling a strong work ethic in his children. As part of this belief, Donald was made to start at the bottom within his father's real estate company by working the lowest tier jobs and learning the ropes from the ground up. As a matter of fact, Donald's behavior during his younger years was a source of concern for his parents. His mischief and rebellious tendencies eventually led his father to send him to the New York Military Academy at the age of 13. After completing his time at the military academy, Trump went on to higher education at the prestigious Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. It was there that he earned a degree in economics, which helped him take on significant roles in the family business. Years later, Donald became the favored successor to Fred Trump's real estate empire under unexpected circumstances. His older brother, also named Fred, but often called Freddie, initially seemed to be the natural heir to the family business. However, Freddie chose a different path and pursued a career as a pilot instead of following in his father's footsteps. Tragically, Freddie also struggled with alcoholism throughout his life, which ultimately led to his untimely death at the age of 43. Donald has often spoken about the impact of his brother's struggles with alcoholism on his own life. As a result, Donald has consistently avoided alcohol and cigarettes, with his brother's life as a major motivator. But when their father, Fred, passed away in 1999, his will divided $20 million after taxes among his surviving children. After that, Donald Trump took over, and his family business changed direction. It moved from managing simple apartments in Brooklyn and Queens to building massive projects in Manhattan. One of the most famous results of this change was Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. The skyscraper became a symbol of Trump's real estate empire, but we'll talk about that later. Around the same time, he also took over the rundown Commodore Hotel, gave it a complete makeover, turned it into the Grand Hyatt, and people couldn't believe it. In fact, over time, buildings and projects with the Trump name started appearing in many other places. He built casinos, condominiums, golf courses, and hotels in cities like Atlantic City, Chicago, and Las Vegas. Before anybody knew it, his reach went global, with Trump properties appearing in countries like India, Turkey, and the Philippines, making his brand internationally recognized. Besides real estate, Trump made his mark in the entertainment world too. He owned the Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Miss Teen USA beauty pageants, which further boosted his reputation. Then came his hit reality TV show, The Apprentice, where he served as host. The show made him a pop culture icon, and his signature phrase, "You're fired," became widely known. This was a pretty great start for the young millionaire, and his wealth continued to grow. However, things completely changed when he became the President of the United States of America. Trump's income as president. To begin with, we first have to state that Donald Trump remains the richest man to ever command the White House. Before he became president, he had received approximately $500 million from his father in gifts and other wealth transfers. Recently, the New York Times conducted an in-depth investigation and looked into more than 100,000 pages of tax returns and financial records tied to Fred Trump's various businesses. On top of that, they supplemented their research with interviews from former advisors and employees who had seen the family build their financial empire, and what they found out was unbelievable. Over a span of 5 decades, Fred Trump, the elder Trump and financial mastermind of the family, had about 295 streams of revenue. The thing is, when Donald Trump talks about the financial help he received from his father, he has a tendency to downplay just how much he actually got. It's all part of his effort to project the image of a self-made billionaire. And honestly, it may be a little too late for that. In fact, A 2019 study published in the journal Political Behavior found that a public perception of Trump's business acumen shifted significantly when voters found out just how much money he inherited from Fred Trump. Many people who initially viewed him as a brilliant businessman and the ideal candidate for the presidency began to rethink their opinions when they were presented with the reality of his financial head start. During his presidency, however, his wealth seemingly dwindled as he reported generating a little over $1.6 billion in outside revenue and income through his various companies, including the Trump Organization. For him, being president didn't mean his business empire didn't exactly hit the pause button. The revenue streams just kept flowing from golf courses to luxury hotels and everything in between. And even as president, Trump was quick to show off his philanthropic side. He made a point of publicly taking credit for donating his presidential salary to various causes and departments. However, according to Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, component placement, the amount Trump donated in presidential salary didn't even come close to making a dent in the mountain of money he was raking in as a businessman. In fact, Crew pointed out that his donated salary was less than 1,000th of what he earned during his presidency. All the while, he was basically throwing a penny into a fountain. They also found that political donations, whether from small donors, large donors, often found their way into Donald Trump's personal businesses. During his presidency, about $8.5 million flowed into Trump-owned properties from political fundraising under his control, including contributions from the Trump campaign. However, the first 2 years of his tenure were probably the best. During that time, a number of foreign governments seemed to develop an affinity for the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. Governments from countries including China, Turkey, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates collectively spent more than $700,000 at the hotel during that time. On March 17, 2023, Representative Jamie Raskin of Washington, D.C., who was serving as the ranking member of the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, released a report that turned some serious attention to Donald Trump and his family. The report accused Trump and his relatives of failing to disclose more than 100 foreign gifts they had received, gifts that, by law, were supposed to be publicly reported. Among the details that surfaced, some reports revealed that Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, had given Trump 16 luxurious gifts that weren't reported. These gifts ran into more than $45,000 in value and included some very interesting items: diamonds, gold-plated blades, and daggers. Then there was Japanese Prime Minister mate Shinzo Abe, who also gave Trump a set of golden golf clubs. And then India, not to be outdone by Saudi Arabia or Japan, decided to jump into action as well. The Indian government provided a total of 17 gifts to Donald Trump, with an estimated value of $47,000. And with that amount of money, he's made some really smart decisions, and some others, maybe not. Trump's most luxurious properties. By now, every American already knows that Trump is never subtle. President or not, if he's going to do something, trust him to go big. He is no novice in owning multiple mansions and estates that are equipped with secret tunnels, bomb shelters, and multiple high-end amenities. These estates are right where they should be: New Jersey, Palm Beach, and Beverly Hills. Right now, his real estate portfolio is estimated to total around $155 million, and probably still counting. But let's start with the most popular ones. You must have already heard about the Trump International Hotel and tower in Chicago. Looking at it alone,